This episode, it's all about me and mine. We're going to talk pedals, we're going to talk rack gear, basses, amps, guitars, even a little bit of keyboards and synth. Why? Because this might not all just be coffee. And 'cause Metal Bass Birthday. So, this week, that's basically what I'm going to cover. I'm going to run my mouth about a bunch of stuff about what I have here in the studio and things I'm really grateful for having. And a number of you guys have asked about what personal gear I'm using and some things I've shown in the background like that and haven't really put to the forefront. So we're going to do a walkthrough. I'm going to show you some new things coming in, some stuff going out, and also show you some of the gear that I'm going to be using in the recording and mixing thing we're starting. So I think it's going to be fun. I hope so. And I hope it answers a few questions. So a couple of quick notes before we get started on this. I'm going to be on the Big Bottom podcast. Really awesome and very cool series. I definitely recommend you check them out here on YouTube or on iTunes and other podcast platforms. I'm going to put a link down below. It was very cool and a lot of fun, and the guys asked me some great questions I don't normally get hit with. We had Steve from G&L Guitars, Jonathan from GHS, and my man Tony from Blue Man Group, and basically every gig ever. So, great players, great guys, a lot of knowledge on their end, and it was a lot of fun. So, I recommend checking it out. And on that note, something that I've mentioned on the channel before is bass brands or basses that I'm always surprised didn't catch on as far as metal players. One of them actually was G&L. I told a little story a few episodes back about how I had seen Jason Newsted even early, really raging with a set of, I believe it was an L2000, I think it was the 2 pickup version that they have. And they're kind of known for having high output pickups with their MFD series and things, and I was always kind of curious about why they didn't catch on more. Everybody I know that has one seems to respect them, so Steve was kind enough to extend the offer to send out a G&L for me to demo for you guys. So that's going to be real interesting, and before it arrives, hit me up in the comments below and let me know, do you own a G&L? And what do you think of the high points for rock and metal with it? And if you haven't but have wanted to try one like myself, what do you want to see in a demo? What questions do you have about it? Especially as it might apply from most of the demos you see versus one I might do that applies more to our genre. Definitely be curious to see it, and I'm looking forward to that. And again, thanks so much to Steve for the offer. I'm really looking forward to putting some new content out with that one. Now, on an unfortunate and somber note here, I wouldn't be able to call this a source for Metal Bass info if I didn't stop and take a minute to acknowledge the loss of Sean Malone. If you're not familiar, Sean Malone was a phenomenal bassist from the band Cynic. He also done just an absolute plethora of projects before. A groundbreaking bassist. He was actually a Jaco Pastorius devotee, extremely well-schooled musician. He's done a lot for music education. He's written a number of musicology papers, and he exemplifies a lot of what I feel is missing in modern metal bass playing and that kind of thing, in that he did all those things. He explored fretless without sounding like the obvious references, say, Steve DiGiorgio, things like that. He brought an almost Jaco-influenced fast finger-style funk approach to some of their songs even. If you haven't seen it already, I really recommend checking out his playthrough with the song Veil of Maya from Cynic. He did a close-in playthrough where you can see exactly what he's doing and hear his performance, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's a masterclass in how you can write bass lines and not have to follow the guitar riff all the time. It's a really undercredited band as well. Just as far as modern metal, I think they were one of the top as far as innovation. And his bass lines really, really stood out, and it's a definite loss for the community, especially since not just musically, but by all accounts, he was a great guy. Behind that, we just lost Sean Reinhart, the drummer of the same band, who was another phenomenal musician. So the entire rhythm section of a seminal and important band has been taken from us. So it's only appropriate that we take a minute and acknowledge his passing, and man, what a loss. Truly is. He'll be missed. Thankfully, he left us with a ton of music, and Sean, both Seans, Godspeed. So, to try and lift spirits a bit, we're still here. We still have some metal bass, so let's look at some new additions that have come into the studio and some ones that have been hiding in the background that you guys have mentioned, and I promised I'd show off one day. So, here we go. So, first up, in just come in this week, is a 12-string bass. I've had 12 strings before. I used to have a Hamer. It was just the white Chaparral version. Always liked it. Wasn't using it for a long time. And if you know me at all, if I don't use something for a while, I usually let it go because I feel like, you shouldn't wear house instruments. Let them go and be played by someone. But I've been really feeling the urge to get one back, especially as I've been refining my distorted sound. I've wanted to try it again with a 12. And I think that's really kind of a beauty. Nice and quilted there. Really very cool. And maple neck. Surprisingly solid bass, and was not expensive. So, yeah, you'll be seeing this come up. I'm going to try it through a bunch of different distorted units, and there's actually a song that I'll be working on in our songwriting series that this is going to be specifically used in. I've brought this down to a C standard tuning, which I feel like 12-string in standard tuning, I mean, they sound awesome no matter what. I really like it. But for me, lowered tunings with these just really bring out what they can do. Hearing these in lowered tunings, it just makes everything bloom. Getting that bright chime with just a bottoming out the floor level of low end, really where it stands out. So C standard, 12-string, good stuff. Now, a few of you have also noticed that I've had what look like some BC Riches. I do have 2 BC Riches that are kind of locked away for the time being right now. They're being used on some other stuff, but I also have some Fernandez from Japan that people don't know, but Fernandez used to build BC Riches, and that's why they still have these, and they did a lot of their overseas work. This is a Warlock, and these basses were kind of where I fell in love with the double P setup. If you don't know, although I use EMG right now, I use their soap bars that have P pickups in them, and I use them in both positions. I've tried a lot of different pickup combinations, and I mean a lot. And I have an affection for PJ setups, definitely. The Spectre sound is fabulous. But, for just raw aggression, I just feel like the double P setup just can't be beat. So I've really liked this, and you can see it's basically kind of a duplicate of the old Nicky Six style Warlock bass with the full active circuits and everything. And this has been hiding out in the background. I promised I'd show it off. And yeah, I keep my 4 strings usually set to drop D flat. That's generally the tuning if I'm on a 4 that I'm using. So that's this one. And my other Fernandez, which is based on the Mockingbird design, is kind of a glitter red. I'm actually going to be redoing these covers and doing them black because metal. But neck through model and really good shape. So I've been very fortunate on these. I actually got both of these from Japan directly. They are a lot more common over there, and something I'm definitely going to be talking about gratitude here coming soon, especially with me reflecting on past years and things. Being on my birthday, I try and do that. But I have a great couple of friends, the main one of which being Masaki Murashita from the band Murashita. And I've toured with him before, and he's a very close friend, and he was kind enough to send these out to me. Every once in a while, something pops up in the Japanese market that's really hard for me to find here. And being the great friend that he is, he got these sent out to me. And I'm truly grateful for that. Things I couldn't normally hunt down over here or would cost me 3 times as much to get into this market. He's able to get them out and send to me, and I'm working on another one. So I'll show you that one when it comes out. But yeah, this is really very cool. And I'm also hoping to get an Aria SB1000 sent from over there. They're a little easier to get in better shape over there, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that is my Mockingbird from Japan. Now, a few of you have already seen this one, but one of the ones that have been more recent here is a Carvin LB75 fretless bass. This has the Robert Trujillo signature metal cover pickups. And telling you, these old Carvins, I can't say that I've enjoyed as much some of the newer things, just me. But the classic Carvins and the necks on them and the workmanship are really phenomenal. Really great basses. And picked this one up for a song, slapped the EMG hotness in it. It matched with it perfectly, of course. And yeah, I'm getting better with it. The old fretless chops are coming back, so hopefully I'll be able to put out something a little interesting and entertain you guys with some of that too. Now, a lot of you guys know I play guitar as well, a number of demos and things here on the site. But I have 3 main guitars, just added a 4th for a new purpose, because if it doesn't have a purpose, it can't stay. And this one's one of the older, I think it's called a Sin Special, that I redid with the EMGs in it. This is the Revolution series. I like those a lot. Surprisingly, I didn't know how they would do for more really aggressive metal tones, but they're a signature set that has an Alnico 2 in it, which is really kind of interesting. Not a common magnet for a metal pickup, but it has a beautiful almost sag to it like you would get out of a really saturated amp. Really clear, gorgeous sound. And yeah, the neck on this is a little thicker, which I kind of like, especially for rhythm. It gives me a bit more beef as far as resonance and something, because I can play kind of aggressively when I'm really chugging and going at it. So I like this, and you know, having a whammy and everything makes it great for leads. So this is kind of a rhythm plus lead all-purpose guitar. It gets a lot more rhythm work than it does lead, but I do a couple on that as well. And this one is tuned to drop C. Now this is something I got within about the past month, and I've really fallen for this one. It's just a great guitar. Again, same tuning, drop C, but this one has the sustainer in it, and there's not very many of these. It's part of the the Hellraiser Hybrid series, actually. And they only made a few specifically for Sam Ash that had the natural tops. And if you can see it, they have actually a graphite binding on the neck and body there. Really plays fantastic. Again, great whammy on it, sustainer. This one's rhythm plus lead. This one leans a little bit more lead, and it's also one that has a revelation in it. But I switch this out sometimes with the EMG DMF. I use it back and forth to get 2 different contrasting sounds for stacking guitars and things. But this one just feels great. It's just been, you know, one of those guitars that you pick it up and right away you go, yeah, this just works. Really enjoyed it, and it's just gorgeous. So this one's definitely going to see a lot of use in the upcoming recordings and things. A lot of the demos that you'll see me doing for the production series probably going to be on this guitar. Now, coming into the home stretch here on guitars, this is probably all time my ride or die guitar. Really love this one. It's got kind of an in-between neck where it's not thin and it's not fat. It's right kind of in the center of there. It's from the Hellraiser Extreme series from Schecter that I really love those guitars. But this one especially, there's just so much about it. It just fits me really well. I like the new ones that I have. This one, just if I really want to sit down and really have a lot of fun playing, this is the one I go to. And the surprising thing is, and this goes into something where we talked about before as far as scale length only being one of the things that provides good tone or makes a good feeling string tension and things. This is a 24 and 3/4 scale, like Les Paul scale guitar, but with the same strings and the same tuning, barely feels different than the 25 fives and sounds and plays just as well. As far as rhythm goes, this is the rhythm beast. When I want to not have any BS, just be able to sit there and chug away, have that hard stop tail, not have to worry about the Floyd. It is the get it done guitar. It does sound great for leads. It's got a really great playability up on top, but yeah, there's just something that feels great about it. And these are the EMG DMF pickups. See if I can get them in there. Which, my second favorite, I would say it's a tie in between them and the Revelation at the moment. But yeah, as you can see, it's been through a lot. I've been doing some electronic mods on it. I took out the tone and I'm going to reroute everything just to make it that much cleaner. But yeah, just a really phenomenal guitar and something else you'll be seeing in that production series, definitely. And last up is the new kid on the block. This is the lead beast. Just picked this one up a short time ago. This is the Sun Valley Shredder. And this is the version with the single coils. Again, this one has a great feeling trem in it. I bought it really for hot rodded shredding stuff. All my guitars are dual humbuckers, and I wanted something where I could get some other tones with it for when I'm doing cleans, or sometimes you just really want to get those more extravagant sounding lead things if I want to stretch out into, say, like Satriani style tones, that type of thing. Be able to get a bit more playful with the lead tones. A lot of metal, because of the humbuckers, you get kind of a limited range if you're just using a single humbucker neck pickup. And I just wanted to experiment with some other stuff, and especially having the center humbucker. These EMGs sound absolutely phenomenal, and being able to go in between settings and try out some things I'm not used to. Even reaching back to maybe some old Richie Blackmore type of stuff. Go back with the older dogs and try and learn some new tricks for myself. But yeah, maple neck. You can see it's still got the stickers on it. But really, it's a cool looking guitar, and it's very much that 80s Charvel Pro Mod, which is the newer version of it. It's very much that kind of, if you want to go do some 80s shred, this is the machine for you. So already it's shown a lot of promise with the lead work and everything, so you'll probably see some leads being done on this one too. And again, same tuning, this one's in drop C. At the beginning and going through the show, I've mentioned the idea of gratitude. And, you know, taking this moment on my birthday, I try and reflect, and I just decided, what the hell, I'll just share some things with you guys and stuff. But I wanted to make sure that in my gratitude check, I make sure that you all know that extends to you. I've had a couple of false starts getting the channel together, had to stop for like a 2-year period. Came back. I was really trying to find the niche, but I knew I wanted to at least try and make some kind of contribution to the metal community. And you guys have given back a ton. I'm really grateful for even friendships that I've made, people that, even though I only talk to you through the comments and things, it's, I go on and it's like seeing old friends. Getting to talk with you and hear consistent voices and opinions and thoughts and ideas. It's made me reconsider some thoughts I had. It's challenged me on a few occasions. The channel has given me a few new opportunities as well. And that's because you guys do me the great honor of taking the time to watch. As you may know, I'm starting with Guitar Interactive magazine, and I'll be doing demos and lessons for them too. I'm kind of storing things up and going to be doing a big push, which I'll talk about in a minute. But so that came because I was doing demos for you guys, and a shout out and thanks to Dale at Tech21, who was actually the one who gave me the good word when they asked who should be reviewing. So because of the channel, I firmed up my relationship with Tech21, who got me the relationship with Guitar Interactive. I know I've said this 100 times, but never take something for granted and just keep going at something because you don't know where it's going to go on. I'm obviously very grateful for everybody who's been watching and who subscribes. Like, subscribe, share, hit the bell. And on top of that, of course, I have to show gratitude for my patrons. I hope you guys are up for some new cool stuff. Like I said, working on something cool for the holiday season here for you. And I'm flattered that anybody takes their own money and says, here, I want to help this channel keep going and provide something new. And the people that you see here are helping me to be able to keep the free content going. So it's a great community circle. The patrons aren't just helping me, they're helping everybody. And I greatly appreciate that. For patrons, part 2 of the big production series. You've already seen the lead in with the talk, but we're going to start talking about the fundamentals of how to start your songwriting and things. That one's going to be coming up on the patron channel soon. If you'd like to become a patron, subscribe, star, and patron links below. But as always, thank you very much. I do greatly appreciate it. Now back onto the gear. I'm also very lucky and grateful because I've developed some relationships with great companies that are making great gear. I know I've talked a bit about before that when it comes to openly showing or promoting who I work with, I'm not a person that shills gear. I don't like doing it. If I show something on here, it's because I actually use it. But I have truly an embarrassment of riches right now, and I'm lucky enough to work with companies like Tech 21 and a company like AMT, who are great people on top of making excellent products. So I'm always happy to present them to you guys and show all the cool stuff that I'm able to bring to you from them. Now, as you've seen, and on the demos on here, I'm a big Tech 21 fan, and I'm still using the Doug, the Steve Harris, the DI2112 Getty unit. I'm actually looking to add an RBI unit. I'll show you guys that one when it comes out, but I'm going to have that probably in the mail here shortly. Got to make that order, and it's a classic, so I'm sure there's, info and demos all over, but I have to throw my hat in the ring. In any case, let's take a look at some of the stuff I've gotten from AMT here recently. They just sent me out a bunch of new stuff and some things that are going to be used in the songwriting and production, and just lots of fun. So I've been using the AMT Bass Crunch pedal, which is a 2-channel amp, or a 2-channel pedal rather, that you can see in the matching Eddie Jackson from Queensryche's bass tone video. You can hear it in action there, but very cool pedal, a drive channel and a clean, and a full effects loop. AMT also puts out a couple of pedals called the Brick series, and they look like this. They're incredibly tiny, and the crazy part is they actually have tubes in them right here. This one duplicates the Orange AD200 amp. This one does the really classic and hard to find Alembic preamp. Both of them sound great. They've got a number of options on them that you can use them not just as preamps, but you can use them as drives, meaning that the characteristics of the EQ stack are used in a drive pedal configuration that you could put in front of an amp, or you can use this as a full preamp type of tone stack and style, making this the dominant sound signature. It's also got some options as far as, frequency notches, bright switches, a ton of options packed into these tiny little things. And to me, they always kind of look like roll cages for race cars or something, the bar here so that you don't hit your controls when you go to step on things, the hard cage for the tubes. Really built great, and these are going to be a lot of fun. I've gotten a couple of these, and I'm also going to be using some ones for guitar as well. This one does not only a Soldano SLO amp, but a Mesa Red channel. You can switch in between them, which is just crazy. And then this one does a VHT. I'm a fan of all 3 amps, but them some pricey amps. The fact that they can pack these preamps into these, and I can run them into a power amp and get that sound, is just amazing. And they're really inexpensive. That's my big thing about AMT, is not just that they make really great products, and I mean these incredibly small form factors, but they're a steal. Absolutely inexpensive, and we're musicians. We don't have a ton of money, so they're definitely in our corner on that. So these you'll be seeing in the production series, definitely. This has turned out to be a phenomenal rhythm tone, and this, for lead work, has just been just the bee's knees, as it were. So expect to see these, and this is a lot of what's coming out for guitar as far as my sound. Also, on both of my pedal boards, guitar and bass, is their Pangea Ultima, which you'll be seeing a lot from me on. I'm going to be doing a demo for this, not just for the channel, but for Guitar Interactive as well. This is frightening. I mean, it does so much that, yeah, I mean, you'll just have to sit through the review. You can program this and flash the ROM into it to be almost anything. You can do stereo to mono routing. You can have preamps, high gain preamps, noise gate, compressor, multiple IRs into 2 channels. So have 2 different cabinet simulators going out. You can create your own wah with your own points in it, and then just plug an expression pedal into it and have your own custom built virtual wah inside of it. Chorus, phase, flange, delays, reverbs. I mean, it just does all that inside of these tiny little things. They're just nuts. So, I mean, you really think about it, you could take high gain guitar setup right here. I could sit here and have, a red channel Mesa going into this simulating a power section, which it also does. You can pick EL34 or 6L6 simulations inside of here, run from this into here straight out to a board and have a massive high gain amp with multiple presets in it inside of this. You know I love old gear, but I like the new hotness too. And these are definitely new and hot. So I'm really grateful to the folks at AMT for sending me this stuff out. You'll definitely be seeing a lot of it. And yeah, good stuff. Now, a question I've gotten a lot is when I go to do live gigs, how do I handle just using a pedal board setup? Do I take a head? That kind of thing. And for a long time, I have been using just a straight power amp. If I was on my own, or plugging into, whatever head was in the back line and just going in through the effects loop or the power section. AMT kind of solved that one for me too, in that they built these, which are actually power amps. I mean, I can hold this with 2 fingers. It's that light. This is 300 watts of power, and it's loud power. It's clean. It sounds like I'm going direct. And, it's got the speak-on connectors, standard connectors. Very, very cool. And I can fit this in the front of a gig bag. So, I could grab a pedal, say the Doug pedal or one of the AMTs, and this, jam them down into a good-sized gig bag, go with my bass, and I'm done. If I need to do a quick gig or something, I've got everything covered here. Now, the thing that's really crazy about this, and what kind of scares you about, what kind of people you're dealing with here, and the kind of technology, is that here's a second one. Now, I don't just have 2 because, hey, more is, more. But what you can do with these is they still work out for larger gigs. Is if you see how these 2 are, you can put them together and link them, and it becomes one rack piece. You run a cable in the back, and now you have 600 watts. They combine. So bigger gig, pop this in the rack with maybe, an RBI or something from Tech 21, any of my other stuff. But if I need a lot of power, I just kind of transformers it together, and that's how I handle that. So that's a really crazy option to be able to have. And, having power in a section like that just combines together, and I only have to bring as much as I need, or I can step up, grab a rack for bigger gigs or a tour or something. So that's going to be a very cool option. I haven't had to use the 2 of them yet, but hoping I'll have the need. And if I do, this will be in the background in the rack somewhere. So that's what all my pedals across the board, guitar and bass, are running into now if I need to run them out to a cabinet. And so last up here is going to be the AMT Stonehead amp. This is, believe it or not, a 4-channel amp, 4 completely independent channels inside of a single rack space. It has a clean channel, a crunch channel, a high gain channel, and then a lead ultra high gain channel. You can control everything from multiple or having a serial or parallel effects loop. You can set it to EL34 or 6L6 tube simulation, and the simulation is just insane, the technology they're using. You can switch between channels. It's fully MIDI capable. You can control the voicing on some of the channels to change the type of amp that you're going into, a deeper, more Mesa or even diesel sounding type of thing, all the way up through a more high mid type of thing where you have, say, more like a Marshall 800, that type of thing. PV5150 being in between. You can get all these different type of tones just out of this thing. It's unbelievably versatile, and look at it. It just is in a one rack unit. This thing could power, 4 cabs and just go nuts. 100 watts. You could also back it down all the way down to 3. So it's a live amp, it's a studio rig. It just cured basically all of my studio and live needs for guitar. And it's crushing. You're going to hear this thing a lot in the production series too. I'm going to be using it on all the new songs and all the new work. There is a Stonehead demo I did. You can look that one up. I'll info card that so you can hear what that sounds like going through my Mesa cab over there in the back. It is just rude sounding. And yeah, I don't know how the hell they do it, but I mean, this thing in US dollars with shipping is like under $800. I mean, where do you get that? So again, phenomenal technology, good stuff from good people at amazing prices. So those are the people I like, one, working with for myself because I can afford great stuff, but 2, I'm happy to pass it on and recommend it to everybody because, I believe in it and I use it. So I definitely recommend you check them out, but in gratitude, I get to work with these places and it's given me access to this gear. So I'm eternally grateful for that. And then my last surprise. As some of you may know, I'm a huge fan of 80s FM synth style synthesis. I really got inspired by artists like Vangelis, which you might know from like the Blade Runner soundtrack, the amazing bassist and synth player Patrick O'Hearn, who used to play for Zappa and then wrote really ambient soundscape type of material for a long time. Guys like Brian Eno. Really just, I always had a soft place for that kind of thing, and I've always really wanted to get more into it. And I tracked down kind of a rare one, and that's in new for this week, but I picked up the Yamaha TG33. So that's new in the studio. There's going to be some keyboard and some really interesting sound design ideas, but I actually had one of these when they first came out in the early 90s, and because digital wasn't quite cool then, it didn't get quite the respect now, and now people are starting to realize how cool it was. The coolest thing about it is it has this joystick on it, and you can have 4 different voices and move in real time, favoring one or the other in a mix, creating these incredible soundscape things. So I'm really excited, one, to have this thing back, a lot of great memories, and to be able to write some stuff that incorporates this. So as you probably saw from my old studio, and now it's on a different wall, but I had my Blade Runner posters and things like that. I've always loved that type of stuff, the soundtracks from that era, stuff from like John Carpenter and things too. But I've always wanted to kind of incorporate that into some of my metal tunes. And if you have my Voice of Dissent album, you know that all the songs have kind of a synth segue going in between a few of the tracks that I felt added some atmosphere and things. So that'll be showing up on the production thing too, but really cool to have this one again. And that's the last of the new toys. So finally, coming up, as another holiday thing, so I get to hang with all you cool cats. I think I've got the whole live stream problems worked out. Hopefully, please, God. But I'm going to try and give it another shot and do a longer form one, just a hangout, kind of a ask me anything thing. I'm going to be doing some work around the studio and stuff, and just have you guys along for the ride. We'll talk about gear. We'll just make jokes, be idiots, do whatever you want, but kind of an open form thing. And that'll be kind of a holiday thing. Our Christmas, New Year, Hanukkah, get together, hang out, pagan celebration, whatever we want to do. So maybe we'll talk about our favorite music, do that type of thing. But I always love the interaction, and I've been really wanting to do one again for a while. So we'll get that together here shortly. I'll announce it on the channel. That's why you need to hit that bell and hit that subscribe so you get that alert and you know when to jump on. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you there. Again, I am truly humbled and grateful to pass another year around the sun and have so many awesome people along for the ride. Genuinely appreciate it, my friends. That's going to do it for this one. I'll see you next time.